Hi, I'm Eric Weingartner, and I manage the survival portfolio at Robinhood. Since our founding, Robinhood's programs have served immigrants, and today, over 40 programs at Robinhood served immigrants uniquely. Over the last year, Robinhood has worked with the Honorable Chief Judge Robert Katzmann, the Chief Judge of the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, and the founding Executive Director of the Immigrant Justice Corps, Nisha Agarwal. Judge, let me start with you. Judge, for 1 year, you and Robinhood have been in a conversation about the national crisis facing immigrants in New York City. What are you seeing in your court, and what's the crisis facing immigrants that's both a local and a national crisis?
What I see in my court is the absence of quality representation too often for immigrants. And when you don't have quality representation for immigrants, the chances of the immigrant prevailing is very much diminished. The volume of our caseload increased from 1999, a very minuscule number of cases, to almost 40% a few years later of immigration cases. In case after case, what I saw was that the lawyers were not adequately representing the immigrants, and the quality of the briefing was inadequate for the immigrants. And I had the feeling that if only there had been quality representation at the very outset of the case in immigration court, long before we saw it, that the outcome would have been different.
So the Immigrant Justice Corps came out of the necessity to solve this problem. Help us understand how the Immigrant Justice Corps, in your mind, is an opportunity to go after this crisis that comes in front of you in the court.
What this Corps will do in the New York City area itself is, within a few years, at full strength, double the capacity of nonprofit providers to offer services for immigration. That's a game changer.
Nisha, you came to work with the judge in Robinhood this summer, and were tasked with trying to figure out whether or not New York City was ready for, could support, and could implement a brand new program to infuse the city with both legal talent and BA-level community advocates.
So the clear gap, and this came through in Judge Katzmann's study as well, is the lack of people, actual competent lawyers and paralegals to assist individuals. In Judge Katzmann's study, he had found that nonprofit legal services providers were turning away 3 cases for every 1 that they took in the deportation context. So the clear intervention we needed here is, how do we get more people in the field who are high quality? And that is the ultimate sort of strategy of the Immigrant Justice Corps, is to bring that talent into the field.
What does that mean for families? What does that mean for kids?
Moving from being a non-citizen to being on the path to legal status is totally and instantaneously transformative in an individual's life and in their family's life. You can work in a job that's above the table, where you're protected legally, you can get higher wages. If you're a young immigrant, you can get student loans to go get higher education. All of the different pillars of building a new life in a new country are suddenly open to you, and there are a significant number of people in this city who are living in the shadows, but for having contact with a high quality lawyer, they would be able to be on the path to legal citizenship. And that is the crisis that I think we're trying to remedy here.
Judge, is the country and is New York City ready for the Immigrant Justice Corps?
I think absolutely. The response has simply been overwhelming, from law school deans, from law students. There is a real hunger to serve. There is a recognition that we can do something. We can do something together using the legal system to serve others in need. That is the noblest purpose of the lawyer, is to serve those in need.
Nisha, help us understand the nuts and bolts of the Immigrant Justice Corps. How will it work? And I guess I'm trying to understand who's going to apply, how are we going to select folks to serve, and what will their work be in the community?
At full capacity, the IJC will every year serve up to 15,000 clients, doubling capacity in the field. And here's how it works. What we did in designing the IJC was talk to experienced practitioners in the field, and we said, what kind of caseload can you expect first-year lawyers to handle, second-year lawyers, and third-year lawyers, as well as paralegals? We took those numbers, and based on the complement of fellows we're expecting to have every year, we came to this number of 15,000 and compared it to the current service capacity, and it truly doubles capacity, and we'll keep building on that over time.
Nisha, can you give us some examples of cases where the Immigrant Justice Corps can have a real impact?
Here's one example for you that is currently a case that one of our potential host organizations has been handling. Two young brothers, 9 and 12, Juan and Pedro, came to this country, crossed the border from Mexico, and were living in the shadows, undocumented, for many years. Once they were able to access competent legal services at one of the preeminent providers and a Robin Hood grantee here in the city, they discovered that they actually had a path to legal status available in this country, and they are now able to pursue education, pursue work, and build a life in this country.
Nisha, is the Immigrant Justice Corps Teach for America for lawyers?
I think the comparison between Teach for America and the Immigrant Justice Corps is an absolutely fair one. It's an excellent elevator pitch. It gives people the idea of what we're about right away. One aspect, though, that's very different and I think important is that the Immigrant Justice Corps is recruiting people who have, to a large degree, already committed to the practice of law and also very much committed to public service. Because of the way legal hiring works, they've already made a commitment to public interest. And our expectation is this means that they'll have greater longevity in the field of immigration practice over time because they've already made that commitment. This is the boost to their career.
Just from the perspective of the cases, what does success look like for families and for New Yorkers?
To me, we measure success. The Immigrant Justice Corps is successful when individuals move from not being citizens to having legal status, but more importantly, when they're able to access solid, stable work as a result of that, when immigrant children are able to apply for financial loans and get higher education. It's those outcomes that we will find a way to track and measure and be able to say, this is what a lawyer can do.
How has Robin Hood been helpful in incubating this important idea?
Robin Hood has played an indispensable role. Robin Hood has provided the intellectual energy, the organizational leadership, which has made it possible to move from an idea, to move from a concept, to an actual living, breathing organization. And so I can't say enough good things about the role that Robin Hood has played.
Nisha, what's been the reaction in New York City to the launch of the Immigrant Justice Corps, and what is your anticipation in terms of who will be involved over the course of time?
The reaction in New York City to the Immigrant Justice Corps has been like a breath of fresh air for people. I think most of the people we've talked to in legal services, in philanthropy, across the board, in the community, have felt like this is too long in the coming and that it's going to be a game changer for New York City. We're looking for every kind of partner you can imagine. We need financial support, intellectual support, pro bono partners, community partners who'll host our fellows, and others to help with the training and the education over time. So we're looking for friends and comrades in this effort.
There's a sense that this is an idea whose time has come, and it's really up to us to make sure that we're up and running and keep going in the years ahead.
Robin Hood can be proud of the fact that this program, the Immigrant Justice Corps, will change the lives of thousands of New Yorkers annually, so thank you.
Thank you.